Hello friends, this is Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner. It is the 11th of October and I am starting with this one a little bit different. You might be able to see a little friend here, and I thought that I would introduce you to the puppies. Gracie is right here making sure that they are all okay. See, they're all okay, Gracie. Mom, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, Gracie? Gracie, you want to sit down? Okay, sit down. Gracie? Okay, I will show you them really quick and then we will go back and get them situated and I will give the craft update. Yes, I know, Meg, okay. Okay, we'll go with oldest to youngest. So, Amy, you are not the oldest, you are the youngest. The oldest one is Teddy. He is the only boy. He wears a blue collar. And isn't he so precious? Their eyes opened. Okay, so Beth's opened 2 days before most of the rest. And then 3 of them opened their eyes on exactly their 2nd birthday. I mean, 2-week birthday. Gracie, can we go down for a minute? And Josie opened hers a day later. So she was content to be in darkness. So yes, so this is Teddy, our only boy. Next we have Meg. She wears purple. This is Meg. And she's been really sleepy lately. Normally it's Josie who's sleeping so much, but no, this time it was Meg. Oh, it was Josie who opened her eyes first. Beth opened them last. So then it's Josie. She's so sweet. Oh, the other thing is Teddy, he got, if you can see, his nose is like completely black. Look at his paws. He started turning black, his paws, from the 1st or 2nd day. He started turning them black. The others are a bit slower to catch up on that. But that's okay. Then we have Beth, and she's got a different texture hair. I think she's gonna be more poodle because she reminds me a lot of Lily, and Lily is our curly haired poodle girl. And I just think she's so sweet and so cute. So this is Beth. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Amy. Amy wants her attention now. Amy is our big girl. She is about 100 grams bigger than the next biggest. She is very big. Yes, you are. Eats lots, gets up to a lot. She's found a few hiding places that I've had to try to block off in the area where I keep them. In the day, I just put them, I have this pin like set up over here in the corner in the craft room just so I'll be near if anything happens, and then also to keep Gracie coming back to them. So these are the little puppies. They are 2.5 weeks old now, and let me check your ears. I think Amy's ears are just starting to open. What about you, Josie girl? I think Josie's are still closed. So their ears are only just starting to come open. Yes. Okay, yes, I'll move you back. I'll move you back now. And Gracie is still here. Okay, so I will be back in 1 second to continue my update, but I thought since their eyes were open and they're getting real cute, that I would introduce you to this litter of babies. They're just so precious. So I will be back in a minute. Okay, so they're back settled. Gracie's in there starting to feed them, so we'll probably hear little baby squeaks, but sorry. They are doing really good. They're starting to walk. It's so cute. I'll try to put in a video or 2 at the end. We did have an escape artist. We did have an escape artist this week where one of them got out of this enclosure, there is a door that swings so that Gracie can come and go and like be able to go potty and eat or stuff. I was putting food in there, but she was so territorial about the food, and then she kept trying to bury it, which in actuality was just knocking it over and making a big mess. And so I took the food out of the area, and now she'll just go downstairs and eat. But anyways, so yeah, I'm thinking one of them might have followed her out of the swinging door or something. It was Amy. And I took a little video of it because it's so cute. Like, I was going to back up my chair, but lately the other dogs have been like sleeping around it. So I always worry about running over one of them, but I don't normally always check because I just forget. But this time I did. I looked, and there was a little tiny baby. And I was like, oh my goodness. It was so funny.
So I turn around to make sure no one's laying behind my chair before I scoot it. And I see this little baby here. I did not put her out of the confinement. She just is here, and I don't know how it happened. But she may have figured out the swinging door, which would make Amy the youngest of the puppies to have ever figured out the swinging door. Like, I don't know how she got here. I'm not even sure Gracie realizes that one of her puppies has escaped. Amy, what are you doing? What are you doing, little girl? Silly little thing.
It's funny for me, probably, and I don't know if you guys find it funny, but it was funny for me. And so I put her back in, and there hasn't been another escape, but it's only a matter of time, because once they figure out how that door works, it's almost impossible to keep them contained. The funny thing is, though, Georgie is terrified of that door, and up until the last litter, the other two boys were too. They would refuse to go through it, and Georgie still does. We can stick him onto that side and not lock the door, and he will not come out. He's just scared of it. We'll hold the door open for him, and he will like barely be able to be enticed to come out, not even with the promise of TREATS's. Can't say the word because they will all get excited. But anyways, so yeah, things are all really exciting here with regards to that. So I have stuff to share. And I think that this time I'm going to start with the knitting stuff first, because I have, of course, change of plans, because, you know, it's been a week, so I've got to change all the plans, all the grand plans I made, and it's time to change them all already again. And so, most of my plan changing is as a result of the knitting that happened, and it affects the cross stitch, which is why I'm reversing it, so that I can talk about the reasons for the change, and then the result positively that affects the cross stitch. So yeah, where to even begin? Okay, so I will start with some finishes. I made a few dishcloths, and I followed a different pattern this time. I had two colors that I wanted to use for one of the knitting crochet group prompts, which was like lime green and pink. And so I had previously tried to make a dishcloth with these two colors, and it just wasn't turning out right. Well, I forgot the pattern, and then it just, yeah, I just abandoned it. I like started that dishcloth like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, anyway, so I finally just pulled it out. So here is the new pattern I made with it. It is quite bright, as you can see. But what's really cool and fun about this pattern is how completely different it looks on both sides. So this is the one side, and then this is what the back looks like, which is so different from the front. I mean, just fold it over and you can see. And so what I decided to do then was, because also it was very time consuming to weave in the ends on this project, because every end, there was 2 ends to weave in. So each color would only go for a row, right? Not even 2, it was just 1 row. Yeah, and so every single row, there was a pink end and a green one to weave in on both sides. And it took me ages to finish weaving them in. But I don't hate weaving in ends like I used to. I used to really hate it, and I would avoid it at like all costs. And now I don't mind it, but still it was a lot to do for this tiny little project. I almost spent more time weaving in ends than I spent crocheting this. So what I did was I thought it would be a fun set to do this, then to do the same pattern but in solid in both the pink and the green. So here's a little fun dishcloth set or washcloth set that's, you got the mix of them both and then a solid in them both. I don't know what I'll do with it yet, but it was fun to make. I give away most of my dishcloths, washcloths, so who knows. I did discover on this one. This is the last one I did, and the pattern calls for you to chain 3 to begin each new round. And that left it really gappy looking and loose. You can see here. So on the pink one, I decided to try to do only a chain 2. And you can see it looks so much better. So if I were to do this pattern again, I would do a chain 2 and not a chain 3. And I'll include a link to the pattern down below. It was a free video tutorial from Fiberflux, I think a few years ago. I don't remember the name of the pattern off the top of my head, but I will leave a link down below. And it was a free pattern, so if that's something you're interested in, definitely check it out. So next we have my cardigan. This cardigan is a big, I'll talk about the cardigan later. I'll show my other little progress updates, because there are 2 projects that are the reason why plans are changing. So next we have the pink fizz socks that I'm doing in the pumpkin juice. I didn't make much progress just from where this progress keeper is, and look at that little cutie fox. But anyways, so I did a few more repeats. I think I'm about halfway through with the leg before I start the heel. I need to go back to working on this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this pattern, and I'm really happy with how the sock is looking. I think those colors together are beautiful. Just stick that down there. I shouldn't even be showing you this because I think I only have like almost no progress. So here is my little Halloween stripey sock. My progress is just like 4 rounds. So from this green, and now I've started the orange. So basically no progress, but that's okay. I took this down one night while watching a TV show with my husband, and my husband, I've mentioned before that he is running for school board in our school district, and so the time that we usually would spend watching TV together or watching a movie, usually TV because I'm not a big fan of movies, he's been spent working on campaign stuff. So we're not having as much of that time, but that's okay because it's only like 1 more month, less than a month till the elections, and then we'll probably have TV time again. But so yeah, I haven't worked on that except for during like one episode of probably The Rookie or 911 are the 2 shows we watch the most. We've also been watching Castle because I love Nathan Fillion, and I love Castle, so. Okay, so now I will talk to you about the 2 projects that are the reason for the changes to the plans, or part of the reasons. Okay, so when I shared this last, I had finished the rib on my cardigan. I've now done 4 more rows. Yes, a whole grand total of 4 more rows. And each 2 rows, because I want to make sure I'm doing a there and back again, so that I don't forget that when you're doing the odd number row, so like 1, 3, blah, 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 like that, you're following the charts 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C. When you are doing the even numbers, you have to do it in the opposite direction, C, B, A. And I don't want to forget that and start an even number row looking at A, B, C. So I am trying to do it there and back. Each one is taking at a minimum of 2 hours. At a minimum. And to be honest, I'm just not feeling like dedicating that much time to this project right now. It is my owl project for the Harry Potter knitting and crochet, which is the big project. Part of me is thinking of ripping it out and resubmitting the proposal next term, because one thing is that I didn't submit my proposal until like the end of the month, so I only had 2 months to make the sweater instead of 3. So I cut myself off a whole month. And then this is also the month of the MKAL, the West Knits MKAL make along. And so I wanted to spend some time on that project. And so I just really kind of shot myself in the foot. And so part of me is debating doing that. I think that, or maybe I don't want to limit my first garment making thing to force myself to finish it in 3 months. That maybe I just want to plug in, try to aim at doing, you know, 1 repeat a day or 1 every other day until I get it done, and not even worry about make-believe internet points. But so this was a big part of my planning for the next 2 months, was trying to finish this cardigan. And so here's what I've done. It's really hard in this lighting to see the cables, and also in dark material, but I am happy with how it's going. I'm happy with the color. I really am pleased with it. Even following along with the pattern hasn't been as bad as I was anticipating, but it is taking a lot of concentration and a lot of time. We're still getting 90-degree days here, so I'm not even feeling like cold to want to knit on a DK weight, warm material. And so I think that for my own mental health good, I'm going to take this off of the table, which means that I'm not going to be eligible for the order of whatever that I keep trying to earn every semester. To do that, you have to do a mission, an owl, 6 classes each month, and every Quidditch match. And taking my owl off the table means I'm not going to be eligible for that, but I think I'm okay with that. I think I am. It's a lot of work, and yeah, I think, well, I've been thinking that I'm missing cross stitch. I've started watching Stitch and Mommy's Flosstube channel, and I used to watch it before, and then I just went off of all of Flosstube basically for like 3 years or so, and I lost a lot of my cross stitch motivation during that time. and knitting took the place of a lot of that. And so I've been knitting a lot. And then since I joined the Harry Potter thing, like almost 2 years ago at this point, a lot of my focus has been on submitting for classes, which is usually knitting or crochet. The years are scheduled 3 months on, then you have a month off. 3 months on, then a month off. So there's 3 terms a year. And I've been trying to do cross stitch type things on the month off. But this year, because my family was visiting, so August is the month off. Because my family was visiting, I was trying to finish knitted socks for my sister and my nephew, and working on them for my mom and dad too. And so I was knitting a lot during that time. Then I've been trying to crochet those scarves. And it's not that I love knitting. I do love knitting. But I've missed my breaks from that. And then so the next break that comes in the schedule is December. In December, I do Advents. And most of the Advents revolve around knitting. And so knitting will take a lot of that next off month, which means that I won't have another off month until April, which will mean about a year that I've just focused on knitting stuff. And watching Stitch and Mommy's videos, I really was feeling the call of cross stitch, which is so nice because I have so many projects that have kind of been languishing. And so, yeah, the urge to stitch kind of took over, and I'm kind of at a place right now where I'm like, okay, you know what? As long as you get 1 class submitted for each term, you qualify then for the next term priority sorting. That's the rules. You have to submit 1 class each of the months. I've already submitted September's, obviously. I've submitted a class for October, so I'm fine there. And I have several more projects that are close enough that I'll probably be able to submit for them. Which means just fitting something in for November, which isn't a big deal. So this taking up so much brain work, this cardigan, is part of what made me like want to step back. I'm watching Stitch and Mommy. There are others that I want to watch some more videos of. Part of the thing though is I took so much time off of watching Flosstube that people I used to love to watch no longer make videos. And I don't know any of the new channels, like, at all. And so if you guys have some recommendations, please leave them down below on who I should be watching, because I'm enjoying feeling the cross-stitch, you know, joy, and what projects I've missed in the last 3 years that have come out and all those kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. So then, on Thursday, moving that cardigan aside, the MKAL first clue dropped for Stephen West, and I wanted to stay caught up with that. I think I told you guys that. And so I cast on, and I don't think that this first clue is too terribly difficult. It's just very time consuming. I'm not going to be caught up, you guys. Let's just start there. I am not going to be caught up. But one of the reasons for that is because I had decided to use these square knitting needles. They're supposed to be good for your hands, ergonomic, and yeah, easier on your hands, more uniform stitches. That's what it says here. I don't have an issue with the square needle itself. My issue has been 2 things. And I'm going to show you. This is an extremely soft cable. which when I ordered it, you had the choice between soft cable and not soft cable. A lot of cables are too stiff and keep too much memory, so I said soft cable. This might be good for like Magic Loop DK socks, but for this particular project, it is too difficult. So last night I made myself put them on a new pair of needles. So I haven't knitted since I put them on new needles, and I'm hoping that this will make the difference. But when I was trying to slide them along on this cable, see how it just slides along? When doing that on this particular one, it would get, the cable would come up through these holes, and it was just frustrating. I was constantly worried about stitches coming off the end of my needle as I tried to move the other side back along. And then this join right here that goes from the cable to the needle, I was having trouble getting the stitches to go on it because of the big holes in this pattern. And so then I would have to kind of like let go here, try to force it up, and I was worried that they would fall off. A couple times a couple did, but I was able to catch them back. And so that made all of it pretty frustrating. And so I haven't touched this actually in a few days, except for last night when I was finally like, I was sitting in bed about to go to sleep, and I told myself, you know what, before you go to sleep, change the needles. Like, that's all you need to do, but you need to do it before you go to bed, because otherwise you're just going to keep procrastinating this. And so I did. So you can see here, I've got 4 color change rows things. So to show you how far behind I am, there are going to be 14 of these lighter green stripes, and I've done 2. So I'm 12 behind, and the next clue comes out like early Thursday morning, like the wee hours of the morning. So today is Tuesday. There's no way I'm going to be caught up. Kind of made my peace with that. It is what it is. I'm a type of person who doesn't mind spoilers, so I don't mind seeing what other people's looks like, so I can kind of determine how I like that for myself. So I will be moving these needles now back to actually probably the project that I stole these ones from, which was a pair of DK weight socks. So I think they'll be fine for that. And that also reminds me though that I need to order another pair of these in a longer cable, because these are a 32-inch, but by later in this knit along, 32 inch is not big enough. It needs to be like 47. So that's what's happening with that. Uh-oh. My little chainy thing came off. Go back on. And then I will try to remember to tighten those up after I'm done filming. Okay. I have a couple stash related things. So this is my final Gilmore Girls Mystery Club. This is what it looks like. It's called Air Pants. She did say she's planning some different clubs for next year, so I'll keep an eye out on what club she decides to do next year. The colors haven't been speaking to me most of the time. There's one I absolutely adore. The first one I really liked, but the one from the month before this was like basically the same thing as that first month, and that one, that made me kind of like, I think it's time for me to drop this particular club, because there was other clubs I wanted to join. And also when I joined this, I had hoped that that it would be like sock DK, so like still 75% merino, 25%, because I was hoping to be able to make some socks. some DK weight socks. But this is 100% merino. I've only had one yarn from her that had nylon in it. And so I think she's really talented. I got the Shire kit from her, and I'll definitely be ordering more from her in the future. But oh, and the final thing is that frequently she has past clubs up for sale. So I think just coming back from the mystery aspect is fine for me. Then I was going through my stitch markers to put some on some projects, and I realized that quite a few, no, basically all of my stitch markers and progress keepers are Christmas themed. And so I had a coupon for 30% off on Adornits, and I decided to order some. So, and then also there's this event called the Pigskin Party. So it's for the football season, and you just get points for any projects you finish. So it doesn't have to be related to any kind of prompts or anything. It's just if you finish a project that you started during that season, you get points for it, and you're on a team and that kind of thing. So I'm participating in that very loosely. But if you use things from one of the sponsors, then you get extra points. And if you use an exclusive to the event thing from a sponsor, then you get extra points. And so this one was the exclusive progress keeper. Well, actually I got two of them. So this one, the little gnome is holding a sign that says Merry Christmas. And then in the other one, the gnome is holding a candy cane behind his back. I just think they're so cute. Then sticking with that gnome theme, this isn't exclusive to the event. This is just from the same person. Is a gnome holding a ball of yarn. I think that's so cute. Then I saw this one and it reminded me of My Little Puppies. Even though I think this is a Bichon, it still reminded me of My Little Maltipoos, so I had to get it. Then I got a Hello Fall, a Hogwarts one. Well, actually, no, I'll show that one in a minute. That's the last one. A Disney one. So like a Disney castle, and then it's got like a little Mickey Mouse ears. It's sparkly. So then this is the Hogwarts one, like a night scene. And then she included these freebies, and I think that she chose these colors because it matches with the Hogwarts one. So it says be positive, and it's blue and gold. There's 4 little ones in there. I thought that was really nice of her to include this little freebie. She's the one that I do the advent calendar from. So I'm looking forward to having more Christmas progress markers. But yeah, so that is my tiny bit of haul. Oops. So, okay, talking a little bit more about why my plans have changed now that we're going into the cross stitching section. So I was sitting there thinking, and I realized that next month, in the middle of the month, the World Cup is starting, which I am super stoked about. I love the World Cup. I always cheer for Germany, and then like it goes like Germany and then America, usually. I usually hope that they're never in the same group, so I don't have to pick one over the other to cheer for. And then one of the countries I used to live in, Senegal, is in the World Cup this year, and so I will be rooting on Senegal. And yeah, and then I just basically pick and choose between what teams impress me in the group stages. So in the past, I've cheered for Well, in the Euros, I was cheering for Denmark. I've cheered for Wales before, and Wales qualified. So they're also one of the secondary teams that I like to cheer for and watch their matches. Much to my dad's annoyance, I don't cheer for England, and that's probably because their fans can be somewhat obnoxious towards German fans. I just don't appreciate it. So I don't cheer for England, but my dad always does. And then also because my dad refuses to cheer for Germany, that frustrates me. So then I also refuse to cheer for his team. So, you may not know, my dad is South African. And so growing up, he watched British soccer teams. So Manchester United is the club he cheers for. And yeah, because they are a part of the Commonwealth, and they were a British, whatever you want to call it. And so, so yeah, he and his dad also always rooted for England. And so, I mean, I get that, but I'm not rooting for England. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whatever. So, I am going to be watching a lot of the World Cup, and I don't know if I'm going to try to vlog it with my like predictions. I'm going to make my bullet journal things. I don't know. So I was just thinking about that. And I've got my around the world project that I like to work on during like international sporting events. So like during the Olympics, during the World Cup and stuff like that. And so I didn't want to have to be focused on trying to finish a cardigan during the World Cup. Like the mission challenge, which is the smaller between the owl and the mission, it's a 6-week project that ends November 17th. The World Cup starts November 20th. And I didn't want to be trying to crunch time, finish the cardigan with the World Cup going on. So I always try to watch like all the games, as many as I can. I will be like DVRing them. I actually need to go through and clear out like the entire DVR in preparation of this. And yeah, so that's going to be a lot of my focus. And then I will be transitioning into Advent stuff. But the World Cup is still going to be going on. So if you watch my Vlogmas videos, I apologize, but there's going to be a lot of World Cup content for the first couple of weeks. That's just how it is. It is what it is. But hopefully that means I'll be making my projects and everything. But yeah, so that's the main things that led to the reason behind watching Stitch and Mommy got me really wanting to cross stitch. And yeah, so I am going to share my progress. Well, okay, one more thing first actually. I got back my Clue tablecloth, and so I thought I would share that with you guys. There's no way to get this all in one shot, so I'm just gonna try to go through the whole thing. So on each of the ends, I put, so this end is the weapons. So hold that back a little bit. So that's what that looks like. And then you go up, and you get to the actual game board. And yeah. Jeez Louise. So this is the game board. And oh, it was so fussy to make. So difficult. But so then you keep going down. I bordered the whole game board in red. And then I put in a big black section. And on the other end was the player pieces. And then another black section just to finish it out. and so this is a playable Clue game board. You can literally, I mean, it's got all the rooms in the right order. You can literally get game pieces and the cards and play this game well at the table. So I'm really proud of what I did, but oh my gosh, please never ask me to do this again, is my hope. And I'm also happy that I got it back. I didn't know if they would keep it for other activities or things like that, but I have it back and I will fold that nicer after the video. So now on to cross stitch. Okay. First up, we have Halloween rules. This is what it looked, no, I will show you actually what it will look like when it's finished. So here it is. This is what it looked like last time. And here we have it now. So I did quite a bit. Let me... So I finished up Stay Up Late. So I still had to finish the owls, so I did that. Then I did this whole one, Mind Your Mummy. The reason he doesn't have eyes is because those are buttons. So I will add those at the very end. And then I started the border for the next one. However, I counted rows here and I need to move the scroll frame up. So since my last video, I did 800 stitches on this one, which I am really happy with that. Oh, so this is what the next one will look like. Sit for a Spell. Next, my friend Lauren and we both started the Slytherin Common Room together. Like a year and a half ago, probably. And this is what it looks like. This is no longer available. I did look it up after my last video. It's no longer available. I couldn't find the store, so yeah. That's what it looks like. I forgot how big of a pain in the butt this pattern is. And I'm just gonna briefly show you guys one page of it. So this is one of the pages. Now there is a lot of back stitching on it. And it is very difficult to read the symbols behind the back stitches. I mean, this pattern is really just an honest to goodness pain in the butt to do. That being said, I mean, I love how it looks stitched up. So I'm forging along, but it is a pain. So I did 200 stitches. So my friend Lauren and I started this together, and we decided to watch some movies together. She's in Scotland, so we can't actually watch them together, but like we start them at the same time, and then we talk about it a little bit at the end, and we both stitch on this project. And so I had said to her that I hadn't ever watched The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is her favorite movie. And so that's what got this all started. And so we watched that. That movie's not for me, but I didn't hate it, and the music is gets in your head. But anyways, so I only managed to get 80 stitches of this done while watching that, but then I did an extra 120 to get to 200. And so this is what it looked like when I started. And here is where I am at now. It might be difficult to see what I did, but I finished filling in most of those squares there. I did a little bit in here, and there's some white back stitching that's not really showing up. Oh, then I also had 2 parked threads that I finished. So I need to do 200 more stitches on this before Friday, because I'm using this for a challenge in the Daily 30 group that ends on Friday, and so I need 200 stitches. It takes forever to get those 200 stitches. I'm pretty sure I added more beads on this project since I showed you guys last, because it was in my basket to show you guys. When I work on a project, when I stop working on it, I put it in this basket so I know what to show you guys. But I think I worked on the gold beads over here on her wing. I've now only got the blue beads in her dress left. So I'm making some really good progress here. I hope to finish this maybe this week. Maybe not, but maybe this week. And to have it done. This is for my mom and dad. Mainly my mom. And I want to make her the entire nativity. And so I really need to get a move on. I've finished, I think I did one other for her already a couple years ago. I need to review my notes, but yeah. This is Gloria. The final one I have to share with you guys is actually a new start. So the other day I needed 500 stitches for a challenge, and I just wasn't feeling like any of the other projects. And I don't think I've had a new cross stitch start in a number of months. And so I decided to start Jardin Prive's ABCs of cross stitch. Hang on. Okay, I put it in my new bag. Anyways, ABCs of cross stitch. You can stitch as 2 separate columns or one long one, which is what I am doing. And I really, really love this. So I've done, did I only do 500 stitches on this? Maybe. Maybe I did. I've been, the colors I use, I put then a strand onto these floss drops that I have been making. I don't back them because for me, as long as I'm gentle with it, it's quite secure enough. It's not, I've not had one rip, so saves me the headache of having to deal with glue and other stuff. And so here is what I have done. And I am really, really happy with this. It must be, maybe I did 800. It must be more than 500. I either did 700 or 800. And here's what I've done. And I didn't want to stop working on it, but I forced myself so I could work on some other challenges. But this also was part of the reigniting of my cross stitch bug. Like how cute is that? And I've just missed, just the pulling of the needle through the fabric and the creating of a picture. So yeah, I'm really happy with that start, and I hope to do more on it. So now I will talk about some plans, cross stitch plans, and then we will wrap this up. So I'm doing this challenge called, I talked about in my last video, called the 12 Days of Christmas, where you have to associate a project with each of the days. And then when you're doing the extreme version, you have to like revisit each of the prior days like you would in the 12 Days of Christmas song, but for the Halloween. And so for today, where I'm at, I'm on day 4. I've finished the 300 stitches because I matched the first 3 days to this Halloween rules, which is how I've done a total of 900 stitches on this so far. So day 1 was 100, then day 2 I had 200, day 3 I had 300, which that adds 600. So day 4 I had another 300 to get to 900, and then 100 on a different project, which I haven't done yet. And that project is called Squad Ghouls from Frosted Pumpkin. And I didn't have the cover to show you guys last time, but I printed it out now. And this is what it looks like. I think they're so cute. There's instructions on how to finish them into little ornaments. I don't know if I will do that. I mean, I guess I could hang them on doorknobs. That could be cute. I'm obviously not going to finish this year, but I'm thinking about future finishing. But anyway, so that's what it looks like. And here is where I am starting from. So I plan to do like 200 stitches on this today, hopefully. And this is where I'm at. So work more on this border. And it's not showing real well there, but this border is done in a classic colorworks called Nighty Night. And oh, it's so not showing. This color is gorgeous. If you need like a dark moody blue with some variegation in it, this one is it, you guys, and it's not showing at all. I will see if there's any possible way to take a picture and pop it in that shows this color, but I love this color. It's so beautiful. And so after filming this, probably while editing, I might work on this project. The one I need to work on for the next day, so I'm hoping to do 200 stitches on the Squad Ghouls. And that will be 100 for the day 4, and then 100 for day 5. And the new prompt for day 5, I should have written them all out, but the project I'll be working, it is a pentagram. So the project I'll be working on for that is this Hocus Pocus from Mill Hill because of the star in her hat. So I need to do 100 on this for day 5, 100 for day 5 on this, so the 100 for day 4, and then 100 for day 5, and then 300 on Halloween rules will get me done with day 5. The other thing I wanted to talk about plan-wise, and part of the other reason why I'm dropping as many of my knitting crochet goals, is because this other group I'm in called Extreme Cross Stitch Challenge, or just Extreme Cross Stitch, I don't know, I'll link it down below, but they do have really extreme goals in there, far more extreme than I can do, to be honest. But beginning next week, either on Sunday or Monday, I'm not positive, I need to recheck the dates, there's a 10-day challenge that you are either supposed to do 10,000 stitches in 10 days, 5,000 stitches in 10 days, or 10 hours in 10 days, which that one isn't a big deal, 10 hours in 10 days. So I am going to try to do the 5,000 in 10 days, which is probably a pipe dream, but that's okay, because I always love to make plans bigger than I can ever follow through on. So there are 4 of these challenges each year. And I decided that I'm going to associate each 10-day challenge with that season. So I pulled out my seasonal projects, and I'm going to try to do 1,000 in each project. One of them is a bit of a stretch to call it necessarily the seasonal one. I'll explain that in a minute, but I had 5 of them. So the first one is Autumn Seasonal Celebration from Country Cottage Needleworks. And really quick, it's been a while since I mentioned these. I'm not doing the words. I'm only doing this part because I then finished them and I displayed that season with the monthly from the Cottage of the Month series. So I wanted it to be square, not rectangular. So here is where I am at on this. So who knows, maybe 1,000 stitches will finish this one out. That would be really awesome if it did. I love the colors. I love the color of this fabric. It's 28 count bittersweet light Joblin even weave. So then I'll still have like half of the fabric left. I can make an ornament or something out of it. I'll put it, and you know what? I don't know what happened to my scrap fabric. I need to figure out what I did with it. But I have the called for fancy flosses. So it'll be good to finish this one and then be able to put those back into my stash. Next I have Autumn Queen from Mirabilia. This is what she will look like. And here, here is what I have done on her. Let me fold the fabric in half so it looks a little bit less see-through. So that's what I've done on her. Not a ton, but I mean 1,000 stitches should make some decent progress. Do I have the tag that says what the fabric is? This is from Fiberlicious. It's called Golden Oak. And it used to be Fabric of the Month. So I think it's a really beautiful color. And I don't know if she's still dyeing fabric. But if she is, her Fabric of the Months were always really beautiful. Okay, next we have Celtic Autumn. I am doing a color conversion of this one. And this one actually isn't just a color conversion. It also utilizes 2 different charts. Right? I don't know. I thought it did, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's a different one of the queens. I mean, maybe it is. It's been so long since I've worked on these, I don't remember. So here is where I am on her. I started working on the dress first because I wanted to not forget the color conversions. So I 1,000 stitches on that should be a decent amount down here in the bottom of her dress. Okay, the next one we have, I actually haven't started yet. And this is, I bought this book years ago. It's from Leisure Art. It's called 5 Seasons of Quilts. I do have this spring one started, just barely. I have like some of this, the flowers by the basket, this, and the birds. But I have not started any of the others. So I will be starting this one, which is the fall one, and doing 1,000 stitches on that. I have all the fabric cut for it already too, so I'm ready. I will be using a 28 count lamb's wool Joblin. So it's got a bit of a brown, and I think that it will look really nice and fall autumnal on this. So I'm really excited for that. The final one I have to share is the Dressmaker's Daughter. So there are 4 seasons on it. However, I'm just working right now on this winter one. So even though right now is the autumn season, I will be working on the winter dress unless I happen to find another fall one in my collection. I just couldn't think of another fall pattern that I had. So here is where I am at right now. Oops, hang on. There you go. Here's where I'm at right now. I'm thinking 1,000 stitches will see me be able to finish the purple on this side, and then I'll be able to start either with the dress or with the finish up the border. But yeah, so those are my big plans going forward. I've just really been feeling like cross-stitching this last couple of days, and while I am feeling that, I just really want to embrace it and go with it, and so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. I will talk with you guys real soon, and hope you have a really stitchy week. Bye. Gracie. Timid little baby steps. Everyone's eating right now.